Life is like a video game. Here is how you win. You wake up, you check your phone, you scroll, you compare, you feel slightly behind. Again, you tell yourself, today I will be disciplined, I will be confident, I'll be locked in, I will be focused, I will be productive. But by 2 p.m, you've already broken at least 2 promises. You ate that thing you said you wouldn't eat, you delayed on the project you said you would start, and you just kept getting distracted and hesitating on the things you said mattered. And then you feel it, that quiet, heavy frustration. Why is this so hard? It feels like everyone else got a better character build than you. More confidence, more clarity, more momentum. And you're stuck grinding low-level side quests while they're speed running the map, to give a computer game analogy. So what do? You try to optimize, you try to get better habits, you try to be more productive, you try willpower, you try to push through, you journal, you meditate, you cold shower, you biohack, and somehow you still feel like you're losing. Now let me ask you something. What if I told you that the reason that you feel like you do is because you're trying to win the game in the wrong way? What if the mechanics of this game are completely different than you think? Because here's the frustrating truth. Most people are trying to control the game. Control outcomes, control perception, control how they're seen, control whether you fail, control whether you succeed, control how comfortable you feel or how uncomfortable you don't want to feel. They're trying to manipulate the environment to feel safe. And that is why they stay low level. In every video game, there are players who button mash, and there are players who understand mechanics. Life has mechanics, but they're not obvious. You think the goal is to eliminate anxiety. The mechanic is to act with it. You think the goal is to secure validation. The mechanic is to be unchanged without it. You think the goal is to force results. The mechanic is to detach your identity from them. And here's the most counterintuitive part that you never hear about. The game rewards non-resistance. Read that again. When you resist anxiety, you amplify it. When you resist fear, you make it stronger. When you resist rejection, you fear it more. When you resist uncertainty, you don't take risks, you shrink your actions. You think you need confidence before you act, but confidence is a side effect of something deeper. It's the byproduct of not arguing with reality. Look at your day. Most people immediately tense. Internally they say, this shouldn't be happening, this is bad, this means something about me. That internal friction drains energy, and energy is your XP bar. The game is not about eliminating obstacles, it's about how little friction you create internally when they appear. Guys, if this content is helping you, like, subscribe, comment, share this video, help out the algorithm so other people can see this type of content, because I strongly believe this is going to be extremely helpful for a lot of people. Imagine a character that doesn't collapse when hit, not because he's invincible, but because he doesn't interpret every hit as identity damage. That's a high level build. Right now, most of you are playing as glass cannons. You look capable, you have knowledge, you have the potential, but one awkward moment you drop to 0 because your mind starts narrating what it means about you. This proves I'm not enough. This always happens. I've lost momentum. This narration is the enemy. Here's the mechanic no one teaches. You don't win by forcing better thoughts. You win by reducing identification with them. There is a difference between having a thought and being the thought. So this is the game changer. When you realize you are not your mind, you are either a slave to your mind or your mind is a slave to you. Your mind is a tool. You have to use the tool, but most people are a slave to their mind. That's why they have so much suffering in their life, because they're constantly at the mercy of what their mind is saying. And the mind is so unpredictable. One minute it wants something, then the next minute it doesn't want it. And then if you are just constantly battling with the mind, you're gonna not be able to play the game of life. If your mind says you're behind, your nervous system contracts. I've created something which will help you directly, practically integrate all of the lessons in these videos. Anyway, back to the video. You are fusing with every mental event. Higher level players don't do that. They notice the thought, they feel the sensation, and they move anyway, without arguing, without dramatizing, without turning a moment into a story about their worth. This is the paradox. The moment you stop trying to bend every experience into something that's comfortable and to mean something about you, the more that you let go of that, the more power that you gain. Because your energy is no longer leaking into resistance. In this game, imagination misused is self-sabotage. Players who level up understand this. Reality is neutral. Your interpretation is optional. When you stop fighting the sensation of fear, something strange happens. It loses intensity. When you stop demanding certainty before action, action becomes lighter. When you stop tying your identity to outcomes, Outcomes stop controlling you. This is why some people look calm in chaos. It's not that they have fewer thoughts, it's that they don't worship them. They don't build identity out of mental noise. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. If you have adopted this mechanic fully, your excuses will collapse. If you adopted this mechanic fully, your excuses would collapse. You couldn't blame mood anymore. You couldn't blame timing. You couldn't blame circumstances, because the game was never about controlling external variables. It was about mastering internal non-resistance. But it's the opposite. It creates fearless action, not reckless action, clear action. When you no longer need the environment to cooperate with your identity, you become difficult to shake. That's a high level character. So how do you win? You stop trying to win emotionally. You stop trying to eliminate discomfort. You stop trying to secure permanent certainty. You allow the moment to be what it is. Anxiety before speaking, silence after a joke, uncertainty in a new room, delay in response. You feel it fully. And you don't create a second problem by resisting it. Action becomes simple when friction drops. Most people are exhausted not from effort, but from internal argument. They argue with reality all day. This shouldn't be happening. I should be further ahead. I shouldn't feel this. That argument is the drain. Drop the argument. Keep the action. That's the mechanic. Life is a video game. You win by mastering your relationship to the moment you're in. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, go to the link below one last time. We have practical ways to integrate the lessons that I'm giving you in these videos. And obviously subscribe and comment below and like the video. See you in the next video.